This is the Fairchild Republic, A-10 often called the Warthog, or just the Hog. It stands as one of the most recognizable aircraft ever flown by the U.S. Air Force born during the Cold War. This plane was built for a very specific kind of fight. Everyone knew where the first major battle would happen if the Cold War turned hot. A narrow 50-kilometer strip of land known as the Fulda Gap. This corridor through low valleys was the direct path from East Germany into the West. Any invading force would be funneled right through it on a march toward Frankfurt and the Rhine River. Securing this gap would be absolutely critical. Both sides lined it with armored divisions ready to clash. To meet this threat, America crafted a strategy called air-land battle. The A-10 was created as a key piece of that plan. A low and slow-flying tank killer that would work hand-in-hand with ground troops. Its job was to smash enemy formations at the front lines, while bombers struck supply routes far behind. This aircraft had one dedicated purpose: close air support. That means flying and fighting extremely close to both friendly and enemy forces. It demands an aircraft that can take serious punishment and deliver precise fire. A plane that is always on call over a battlefield that changes by the minute. Troops might need help without any warning. So the plane must be nearby and ready to launch from rough forward bases. It needs incredible survivability, because at low altitude, every soldier with a gun will be shooting it. The aircraft has to withstand small arms fire, machine guns, anti-aircraft cannons, and even missiles. Pilots often brought their damaged A-10s home with wings, old engines out, and systems failing. Simplicity and low cost were also vital from the start. In a full-scale war with the Soviets, numbers and manufacturing speed would decide the winner. This plane had to be a cheap, rugged workhorse like the legendary Sherman or T-34 tank. It used common parts so maintenance crews could swap components quickly in the field. The entire airframe was designed around its main weapon, chosen before the first sketch was drawn: the massive General Electric GAU-8 Avenger cannon. Its iconic sound is now famous across the internet. The gun is enormous. Taking up much of the plane's interior, it stretches nearly 6 meters long, sitting right under the pilot's seat. The largest part is the ammo drum, which holds 1,150 30mm rounds. A linkless system feeds the rounds into 7 rotating barrels. It also pulls the spent shells back into the drum so they don't harm the aircraft. The gun is powered by hydraulic motors driven by 2 separate hydraulic systems on the plane. This redundancy is everywhere in the A-10. If one engine or hydraulic line is lost, the other system takes over critical controls like elevators, ailerons, and one rudder have power from both systems. If all hydraulics fail, the pilot can switch to a manual backup system. It is difficult to fly this way, but it can bring the plane home or to a safe ejection point. Even the landing gear is built with backups. It retracts with one system, but extends with either. If both systems fail, the gear does not fully retract, allowing a belly landing with less damage. Survivability goes beyond redundant systems. The fuel tanks seal themselves and are filled with fire-suppressing foam. The pilot sits inside a bathtub of titanium armor. It can stop direct hits from armor-piercing rounds up to 23 millimeters. The canopy is ballistic glass, protecting against shrapnel and small arms. The A-10 also carries more defensive chaff and flares than any other U.S. fighter. These confuse radar and heat-seeking missiles. Dispensers are mounted on the landing gear pods and wingtips. They can fire automatically when sensors detect a threat, or manually by the pilot. The unusual engine placement high on the tail is also a survival feature. It helps hide the hot exhaust from enemy heat-seeking missiles on the ground. The twin-tail design provides great stability, like old World War II bombers. Stability is key for accurate shooting. The giant gun is mounted on the aircraft's centerline to minimize recoil effects. The recoil force is so strong, it almost matches the thrust of one engine. But since firing bursts are short, just 1 or 2 seconds, the plane stays on target. High-mounted engines also suck in less dirt and debris from rough dirt runways. Many design choices let the A-10 operate from remote, austere airstrips. Most small military jets do not have an auxiliary power unit, but the A-10 does, with its exhaust visible between the engine nacelles. This lets the plane start its engines and run systems without ground equipment. One of the biggest challenges was the gun's powerful exhaust. An early model was lost when gun gases flamed out the engines. Engineers fixed this by adding a gas scoop under the barrels. They changed the propellant chemical mix to reduce smoke. This new mix dirtied the canopy, so they added a washer system. They also made the engine ignition fire continuously while the gun shoots. This relights the engine instantly if it stalls. The GAU-8 Avenger was built to destroy Soviet tanks. Its 30mm rounds are huge. Many are tipped with a dense core of depleted uranium. Uranium is incredibly heavy, denser than lead or iron. This density gives the round more punch to pierce armor. The uranium also sharpens itself as it pierces, while other metals flatten. America has huge stockpiles of depleted uranium left from making nuclear fuel. It is a cheap and effective material for armor-piercing rounds. However, its use remains controversial with links to health issues in war zones. The A-10 has repeatedly faced retirement. First, the F-16 was meant to replace it, now the F-35. Both sides of the debate have good points. The F-16 can carry similar weapons, but loses its agility when fully loaded. It is a versatile multi-role fighter, while the A-10 does one job supremely well. The modern F-35 is designed for stealth and avoiding threats entirely. It carries weapons internally to stay hidden. When air control is won, it can carry a heavy load externally. These planes come from different eras with different doctrines. Comparing them directly misses the point. The A-10 excelled in conflicts like Iraq and Afghanistan, where threats were less advanced. Much like the wars it was originally designed for, it survives today because it is unmatched for close support and very cheap to operate. For soldiers on the ground, the sight and sound of the A-10 is a powerful morale boost. It has forged a unique bond with the infantry it protects. Yet just as the A-10 was built for a future Cold War battle, the F-35 is built for tomorrow's high-threat battle space. In a future war, taking punches might not be enough. You must avoid being hit at all. Close air support has always evolved. In World War II, tactical air forces supported the D-Day landings. Aircraft range was a major problem. Within a day of the landings, 3 emergency airstrips were built on the Normandy beaches. These strips let Allied fighters stay overhead and stop German counterattacks. I explore these crucial logistics in an upcoming episode. Many of those temporary airfields later became supply bases or were simply abandoned. Their remains are still hidden in the Normandy countryside.